There are excellent watches, good watches, okay watches, bad watches, awful watches, and then there's the worst watch. Could this Milgauss 116400 GV from Rolex be it? A watch with a spinning arachnid for a dial, or one with diamonds set on diamonds set on diamonds, could well be deemed bad, but these and those like them can't possibly be contenders for the title of worst. You see, it's an important exercise here to understand the difference between objectivity and subjectivity, that is, the distinction between what is fact and what is opinion. A diamond-covered watch, for example, may be subjectively bad to many, many people, but it could still objectively be a good purchase if the aesthetic appeals. This goes for the swathes of watches whose audiences are small and unique, which may be considered awful by everyone else, but it's this basis in subjectivity that prevents them from earning the accolade worst. No, to be the worst, a watch can't be weird or wacky. That's merely a matter of taste, or perhaps the lack of it. To truly be the worst, a watch must at the very least appear not to be at first glance. There should be an attempt at normality, an air of acceptability, and then when the finer details are picked at, it all falls apart. It needs to convince you of its suitability, make you think you like it, only to let you down with a big, wet slap in the face. The worst watch, in essence, is a journey that starts high and ends low, offers promise and fails to deliver. And it does this in layers, a cascading revelation of disappointment after disappointment. The longer it can pace this out for, the stronger a contender it becomes. So, what is it that makes the Milgauss worthy of the title? There are three reasons why the Rolex Milgauss 116400 GV could well be the worst watch ever. Taken at a glance, it's an unassuming, time-only steel sports Rolex, generally considered a well-made and popular thing. To take a step back, the entry to this whole sports range, the Oyster Perpetual, offers Rolex build quality, the in-house 3132 caliber movement, and that name on the dial for around £4,000 depending on the size. It's not too dissimilar to this Milgauss, which aside from the addition of a magnetic shield around its similar caliber 3131, doesn't actually offer any additional benefit technically. Yet, somehow, the Milgauss costs, objectively, £2,000 more. That's a time-only steel watch for £6,300 for an extra millimetre of case width over the largest Oyster Perpetual. You get a polished case and centre links as well, but a bit of polishing doesn't explain the gulf in price. To buy a Milgauss and then later discover how much cheaper an Oyster Perpetual with a blue dial is could be painful. But if it's bought, it's bought. Suck it up. Take a look at the watch more closely, appreciate it out from under the bright sparkling lights of the jewellers. But wait, is that? Yes, it is. A lightning bolt. Now, this may seem to fly in the face of what was said earlier about objectivity, but it's the way the orange second-hand seems so unassuming until closer inspection that makes it so devious. The watch is objectively restrained, and then it isn't. And there's only one face that should have a lightning bolt on it, and it belongs to a fictional wizard. Yes, the Milgauss harks back to the dawn of electricity and the people who harnessed it, but does such a pure, unadorned watch need such a thing? Sure, perhaps it might work on something like a Hublot, but this? And then there's the crystal, made, it seems, from a nugget of purest green. You might notice it immediately, or perhaps not for a few hours or even days, but there will come a point where the light falls just right, and a glimpse is caught of the verdant hue embalmed into the slice of sapphire protecting the dial. The question here is, why? What's it for? Does it serve any objective purpose? To make the expertly polished steel of the hands look a little ill, perhaps? To make the sunburst blue dial appear a slightly different shade of blue? It's a mystery, one that will reveal no answer, regardless of how many times it catches your eye. It seems then that the usually unimpeachable Rolex has created something objectively questionable. Each element of this watch's creation raises an eyebrow further. None of it makes sense. It's a contradiction, an oxymoron, and that makes it, objectively, perhaps the worst watch in the world. At least, it does in isolation, because it's with a step back, with an appreciation for the whole, that sense begins to arise. It's like a meal made of flavours that are otherwise foul that, upon coming together, creates something new and unique and intoxicating. This may be the worst watch ever on paper, but rarely does a person eat the recipe. More than anything, it highlights the difference between objectivity and subjectivity in a clear and profound way. The watches we love, the watches we buy, sometimes they don't always make sense. Discover more exceptional watches at watchfinder.co.uk. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. If there are any other watches you'd like to see reviewed, please let us know in the comments below.